voice cuts deep like a sermon with essence. Gia steps up, pure elegant grace. Beauty with brains puts the world in its place. They light the mic, that truth ignites, burning through the fake in the dead of night. No labels, no camps, no tribal cage. They're carving out truth on an empty page. They're relentless warriors, forged like Thor. Modern Viking knocking down every door. You can't pin them down, can't put them in a box. They'll stomp it flat and break your locks. Ceilings, please, they leap sky high, shattering limits you set with a lie. They'll lead in the way, believe that. No simps, no saints, no soft disguise. They see through the games and the alibis. They're not here to please, they're here to lead. Truth and balance, yeah, that's the creed. It was boom, energy of truth on fire. They're calling out the world's desire. From fake ideals to moral decay, they're lighting up the modern age. No one's safe, not the church, not fame. They're flipping the script, rewriting the game. Love and logic, heart and soul, saving the truth for this nation's soul.
Yo,
what's up, everybody? It's Gia MaCool. Happy to have you back. We have a really great show for you today.
Yep, and I'm Glenn Lawrence. Thanks for being here. Today's topic is important. Whether you agree with the manosphere, hate it, or you're just trying to understand the dating and what's this mess between men and women, well, then today's episode matters, and this is why.
Well, it really does, because a lot of people online will throw around words like hypergamy, red pill, alpha, beta, pair bonding, right? Evolutionary psychology, the sexual strategy. And a lot of times when they say it, it sounds really confident, sounds accurate. But is it really true?
Yeah, and that's the problem. There are real patterns we're talking about. There are real differences between men and women. And there's real pain behind a lot of these talks. But there is a big difference between learning helpful truths and building your own worldview off of half-truths, bitterness, and easy slogans.
Right. So we want to slow things down today. This is not about clicks. This is not about reactions. We're not here to attack anybody. We are just want to talk about what's real, what's truth, and what is actually evolutionary psychology, what's inside the Manosphere documentary that's been going all over the place, and what should people really pay attention to if they want wisdom and clear thinking.
Exactly. So whether you're here because you're curious, you're frustrated, doubtful, or just trying to sort through all the noise, well, welcome. And we're going to talk about it honestly, in a real unbiased way, as much as possible.
Right, because we don't take sides, right? We are here for the truth. And sometimes we get ourselves in trouble because everybody wants us to take sides, and we're not going to do that. We're here to tell the truth. And we are tired of seeing men's pain being used and dressed up like biology when it's really a business model, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it is. We're not here to pick teams. We're not here to be on team men or team women. We're on the side of the truth. Whatever the truth is, that's the side that we want to be on. We don't want to be on sound bites or clips. And that kind of makes us dangerous for other people that are playing the team sport. When you're playing the team sport, you're like, oh, he's not on our team because he's not loyal with us. Well, because I'm not going to cover your lie or cover something that's untrue. That doesn't mean I'm not on your side. I mean, I'm on your side when you're right. Like I'm not on your side when you're wrong, and that's okay. But that's a problem. So that's what a lot of this has come to, though. Real pain gets turned into content. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like loneliness becomes content. Rejection becomes content. Divorce becomes content. Your sexual frustration, well, that becomes content as well. And somebody wraps up all that pain into some scientific wording and gives it a brand, and it makes it sound like it's a system and sells it back to men like they found the secret to the answer of life.
Yeah, that's why this episode really matters, because there are real patterns in human behavior and the real differences between men and women, right? We know men and women are not equal. There's a lot of differences there, but there are real things men need to understand. And there are also a huge difference between understanding patterns and then becoming trapped in this hopeless thinking.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And when it comes to evolutionary psychology, the biggest problem is not always that the manosphere makes everything up. The bigger problem is that it takes general patterns, leaves out details, ignores the setting, and then acts more certain than it should, and then presents it like it's a hard rule about female nature.
Yeah, and at the same time, inside the manosphere, the documentary showed something else. This is not just a place for ideas, it's also, like I said, a business model.
Exactly. It's a machine, right? It's a
Mhm.
pipeline, a content business. And once you see that, a lot of the overconfident talk starts to make sense, you know?
Yeah, so today we're going to be breaking all of that down. Let's do it.
Yeah. So where do you want to start off with?
Okay, so let's get into why this topic is like such a, hard thing for men. Like before we even get into the science part, I think we need to start with something real. Like why does this hit men so hard? Why do they gravitate to this?
Because it gives, ultimately gives order to pain.
Mm,
That's the simplest way to say it, right? A man gets rejected, lied to, cheated on, used, divorced, embarrassed, ignored, and he sees dating apps turn into a circus. He sees family court, he sees the hypocrisy, right? And he sees women say one thing and then reward another. He sees feminism shame masculinity while still wanting to benefit from masculinity. Then someone comes along and says, "Hey, there's a code behind it all. Here's what women really are, or here's what men really,
mm,
and here's how this is how the game really works," right?
mm. So it's like he feels like he's missing a puzzle piece and everybody's telling him how he should be and what he should do and this, society and status quo. So then finally he comes to the manosphere and they're telling him, look, this is the missing puzzle piece. So that's why it feels like clarity to him.
Yeah, if he feels like he's getting his, like, he's able to see now, he's getting some direction, and it feels like, someone telling you the truth.
Hmm.
And when the truth gets packaged in, words about, like, evolution, sexual strategy, and biology, it sounds objective, right?
Hmm.
It sounds authoritative. It sounds final. It sounds a lot bigger than just an opinion.
Correct. Yeah. That's why it makes it so powerful.
Very powerful. And because a hurting man doesn't want just facts, he wants a direction. He wants to know what kind of world he's living in. He wants to know why he got hurt. He wants to understand why, he wants the pain to make sense, right?
Mm. So like even if it's not the right way for him or it's even like a good way to move, it's a bad map. It can still feel good when he's lost and he doesn't have his own direction.
And that's the real danger, right?
Mm,
That's the where it really becomes problematic.
I see. Okay, so let's get into evolutionary psychology and like what it really is for the people who don't understand that. Like let's define it. What is evolutionary psychology?
So at a basic level, it is a way of understanding, like, the patterns in between human behavior,
Mm,
by asking, like, what kinds of thoughts and actions may have been shaped over time through survival, reproduction. In relationships, that usually means things like mate choices, jealousy, parenting, right? Short-term or versus long-term relationships, status, attraction, sexual strategy.
so it's not fake.
No, no, not at all. Like, I mean,
Okay.
that needs to be clear. Like, evolutionary psychology is not fake. Now, the problem is that it's not that evolutionary psychology is fake. The problem is how people actually will use evolutionary psychology, the findings in it. Like, the real work in the field does show average differences between men and women in mate preferences. Women, on average, care more about the man's status and resources, right?
Mm,
Men, on average, care more about the woman's physical beauty. Like, is she hot or not? Like, would you smash or not smash, right? But the same research also says that men and women are similar in many ways, and that's the thing that changes based on context or culture and the person, right? So there's a lot more nuance there.
Okay, so while there's a lot more details and nuance between why women do what they do, men do what they do, on the internet, it kind of gets lost to sound bites because what the algorithm picks up or what people pay attention to it spreads like wildfire, basically.
Yeah, so, like,
Okay.
the internet version is nowhere near as detailed as
Mm,
the in the field, the data, the peer reviewed, work. um The real field work usually gives you patterns, chances, trade-offs, and contexts to it, you know.
I
It
got
doesn't
you.
give you like a sound bite.
Okay, so then the first big mistake really is like turning patterns or what people hear on the internet into hard set rules on what to do.
Yeah. See, that's the
Mhm.
whole trick, right?
Okay.
That's probably like the biggest distortion of the data that is provided from evolutionary psychology and how the red pill or like the manosphere will like disseminate it, right? Um,
Mm.
let's say a research shows an average difference between men and women, fine, but online the content turns into this is female nature or this is what women always do, right?
Okay.
This explains all women, or they'll say something like the hidden code. See, like that jumps straight to the problem, right?
Okay. Okay. So that's why like their worldview or their environment that they're in will give them those absolutes, right? And that's why each content creator kind of like projects onto their environment or their view.
Exactly. Like
Okay.
research talks about like averages under certain conditions, right?
Mhm.
Content creators talk like they found laws written in stone, like they
Mm.
found other parts of the Ten Commandments, you know, that never was discovered before, right?
Okay.
But like the real research says that mate choices depend on context, whether short term or long term, like goals, personal values, culture, money, societal
Mm.
rules, like where you live, like what's the societal norm, right? And there's a lot more situations at play.
And then they take like their own data sets to like cherry pick them to their narrative too, which doesn't help. So like basically anything that's loud, that's a claim, really you should be questioning more.
Usually, yes, like a scientist says, like, you know, for example, there seems to be an effect.
Mm,
A content creator will come out and say, that's not what women are.
mm.
Those are not the same thing, right? And shout out to Mrs. D. I see Mrs. D in the chat. She's saying hello. She says, "Hey, Glenn and Gia, I finally caught a live stream. Hope you're all well."
Tell her hi. What's up? Thanks for a lot watching.
So, they're not the same thing, right? When you say like, you know, there seems to be an effect, right? That's what a scientist will say about a certain data, and
Yeah.
then the content creator will be like, "This is what women are." See, like those are not the same thing. One's
Okay.
highlighting an effect, and the other one's making an absolute claim.
Okay. Let's move into hypergamy because I think this is a big one. Like I keep hearing this all over, right? Like almost every tweet that I put out, there's somebody that comes in and goes, "Well, hypergamy," right? Like that's their answer for everything. So
Yeah.
let's get into that.
So the basic version is this: like women on average pay more attention than men do to things like status, earning ability, ambition, stability, and a man's ability to provide in long-term relationships,
Okay.
right? That's like the real starting point of what hypergamy is.
Okay. So it definitely is going to change depending on a lot of things, depending on her age, depending on her environment, where she's around. Like it's not like every woman is going to only focus on one thing depending on, right? Does that change it?
Yeah, like so, like, but you have like the internet version, right, of it, and then you have the reality of it.
Right.
So, like, the internet version becomes more like women are always looking for better deals, or
Right.
women can't really love a man, or women are never, you know, this content, or women are always trying to upgrade, you know, and that goes
Mm,
way beyond what the actual research actually states.
mhm. Okay. Okay. So the real problem is not seeing a pattern. It's turning the pattern into destiny. Like it has to be this way. Okay. I got you.
Yeah, like you know, uh, Rollo said like, you know, hypergamy is not a straitjacket, but
Mm,
then presents it like it's a straitjacket, right?
mm,
It's like it's not. It's like saying like not all women will be hypergamous, but all women can be. Well, it's almost like saying, you know, not all men are going to be grapers, but all men can be,
okay.
right? You know, so you have to be aware of and vet properly to avoid, you know, poor behavior.
Okay.
Um, and so the research supports average differences in preferences. It does not turn female psychology into like a hard rule, like all women are hypergamous, right? but it also talks about similarities between men and women. Both sides do choose, and how much context matters.
Why is hypergamy framed as evil when actually it's not? Like our feature is selectivity. It actually helped us. It's helpful. It's not a
I
bad thing.
see. I don't think hypergamy is a bad thing. I think God gave women an ability to vet or to sort out a mate. You know, just like masculinity in itself is not evil, right? Just like a man's sexual desire and drive is not evil, right? But how the individual chooses to utilize it could be whether if it's good or evil, right?
Right. Because like men
if a
choose
woman,
too. Men
yeah,
optimize their options as well.
yeah. So like if a
Right.
woman was like able to use hypergamy to find her husband and they stayed married and they, you know, she stayed faithful to him and they had a good marriage for the rest of her life, that would be hypergamy utilized in a good way, right? But if it's a woman uses hypergamy to marry one guy, then leaves him for another guy that's higher above of him, and then jumps back and forth or monkey branches, right? Well, then you could say hypergamy that was being utilized negatively, right? It wasn't the individual, it wasn't that hypergamy was bad. It was how the individual was utilizing hypergamy.
Okay. Okay. I understand that.
So, I mean, and then you mentioned something. Both guys do, or both men and women do choose. And see, that's a lot that, you know, that matters a lot because a lot of the content makes it sound like only women are the ones that are choosing and that men are just standing there begging for approval.
Yeah.
But research on like, you know, the human mating says that both sides choose, you know, it's just both sides compete and like both sides are looking for good traits.
Yeah. So men are just not like standing outside the system and like complaining about it. There are men that are choosing as well to optimize their options.
Yeah, exactly. Men help build the same system that these guys are complaining about.
No. So let's get into the dating apps. Because I think
Okay.
like this is another thing that gets skewed a lot online, right? Like we know that a lot of people use the dating app data to kind of describe female nature as like a absolute again, when we already know that women do one thing, their preferences are one thing, and then what they actually do like offline is completely different.
Yeah, right. So there's a lot of things about the dating app, right? Um, a lot of people will use like the classic old like OK Cupid data saying that, you know, women rated a lot of men below average. And yes, like that's exactly what the write-up showed. It said that women were more harsher on their rating patterns, right? But the same write-up also said that women's actual messages behavior was a lot less extreme than the way that they rated men, right? So that means it showed that women, although they were harsh when they were rating men, they were more engaging in conversation with the same men that were not, they would say that was not average or whatever, right?
Correct.
So it shows that men, you know, like the best way to say it is like it showed that like it made it look worse than it was, but it also showed that men focus heavily on the most attractive women as well. So the majority of the men were trying to all get at the hottest chicks as well.
Yeah,
So,
there was a few studies on that. They showed how while their swipe habits were one thing, who they actually chose, you know, behind all of that was another thing, right? So what's floating around on the internet, these little graphs and whatnot and statistics are again, you know, hyped up. They're way hyped up. Like, let's be honest here. I've seen enough already that are like exaggerated.
yeah.
So we know there's more detail than the meme version of the internet.
Yeah, and Durace 2053 says like
Mm.
hypergamy is a thing, but luckily there are 2s and 3s out there for average dudes. You're right, you know, like you know, it's almost you're almost talking about like a sort of mating strategy. And he said that he followed up with it and says like, I always tell men you must always be her best option. Every single day. You got to wake up and do it. You don't get to just do it like one time when you get her to lay in bed with you and then now you get to like slack off. No, you got to be the best option daily. You know, so like, so beyond that, like, you know, dating apps are a really distorted place, right? Swipe culture reduces people down to pictures, status signs, quick attention. It rewards like shallow choices, like it rewards
And we already know,
novelty,
like
right?
on average, everybody is the dating apps have gone down. Like we know it's dying. Like hardly
Yeah.
anybody is using it anymore anyway. So
Yeah, like
okay,
I think about
so
Tinder is not like a wholesome, like a whole,
yeah,
like it doesn't. Tinder does not account for like the entire human race, right?
yeah.
It tells you something. But it does not tell you everything. Like the data
Mhm.
doesn't show everything.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna move to my favorite slogan that I've used, I've seen other people use is the alpha fucks beta bucks. Let's
Hmm.
let's dissect this one.
It's catchy, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's
So,
memorable. I
well,
mean,
why
it's
does it stick?
brutal.
Why does it stick? Let's get into that.
Okay, so because it puts pain into one sentence,
Mm,
right? It tells a wounded man like the guy that she wants and the guy that she uses are not the same guy,
mm.
right? And yes, trade-offs are true. There's trade-offs in attraction, and that's real. But like real life is more layered than that. People look at like many traits together. They're not just looking like just for one cartoon split.
Right. We know that men can have both as well.
Yeah, it's more complex, right? Much
Mhm.
more complex. Like, did you know that like warmth matters and trust matters? Even stability is a measure, right? That they
Mhm.
use. Even intelligence, peace matters. A person's character matters. So the slogan works as content, but it does not work as a full explanation of like how human mate choices are made.
So could you give me like a little idea of like what's a better way to explain it, especially for women so that they can hear it?
So I would say that women would want the guy that she sees as an alpha, but also he's capable of providing that nurturing side as well.
Mm.
Right.
Okay.
Like it's like the perfect, like it's not like a 50-50 mixture, like because that I don't think that would be good. But think of it more like at a 70-30, 80-20 kind of split. Like she want the guy to have predominantly more alpha traits or characteristics than obviously like the beta characteristics. But those
Okay.
beta characteristics are also equally important.
So wouldn't that also kind of for a man, he also wants to have a relationship with a woman that has more than just one trait. Like she
You
also
just have
needs
more
to
than an ass.
carry right. She's got to also have multiple things going on for him to want to have more than just a pump and dump, for instance. So I do think that there is a side on both men and women that want multiple qualities
Yeah. Um, and
from each
because
other.
like those traits don't like make men angry all the time, like being kind, warmth, trustworthy, being dependable. Those are good, but research keeps coming back to those. You know that?
Mhm.
Like good traits matter a lot in mate choices
Right.
and in strong relationships for long-term like relationship mating.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so if somebody's whole view mostly says like women only respond to status or only respond to dominance and manipulation, they're leaving out a huge part of the story.
A massive part of the story,
Okay.
right? And when you leave out like that much of it, then you just end up training men for shallow cycles of,
Mhm.
like short-term mating selections rather than stable relationships overall.
Okay, so that's kind of happening a lot online because like how do you show those qualities offline, right? You can't really.
Mhm.
So now it becomes very superficial
Yeah. And
and
then like they
shallow.
only, and if you notice like the type of women that they will present, they're all like the
Mhm.
one of the same character, right?
Right.
And it's like, well,
Well, they
it's
also don't
almost
mind
giving
being seen
confirmation
online.
bias.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they also don't mind like these women that are being shown have to also want to curate their social media as well. So like
Yep.
the ones that maybe we're not seeing, like we
Hmm.
don't get a chance to see those. They're not being presented online. So that gives
No.
a very skewed version, right, of the type of women that we're seeing.
And it gives a confirmation bias. If you're thinking like
Mhm.
all women are hoes, and then only the type of women you see on social media are behaving like hoes, well, now you have come to this conclusion that all women must be hoes.
Or if our dating if his dating pool is like Miami or club life, like that's the type of women that are gonna be there. So, like, that's
Yep.
his environment, that's his circle.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move to the fertility cycle stuff because the internet loves this. And I had like, I don't know, for the past 5 tweets, I've been just dealing with hate, on the fertility end. So yeah, let's get into that.
Yeah. This is where you hear like women want better genes, or like the sexy sun theory. And they want like men that are more attractive during like their fertile times, and then they want to go back to like security later. So like they want the alpha to fuck and get pregnant by, but then they'll go back to like the betas to provide and be the more nurturing security, like the comfortable guy. Right.
Okay. Okay. So when you hear stuff like that, it's like more, it's like people who are saying things with certainty, but it's again leaving out a lot.
Yeah, they make it sound like it's absolute, right? And that's the
Okay.
issue. Like a better, like a careful version of saying it would be something like, the effects that link, like, okay, so it'd be like, some effects linked to a woman's cycle have been suggested, but like stronger claims have been heavily debated, and there's a mixed evidence, so it's really unclear. They're still, sifting through the information because there's no absolute anything in there. Like
And
it
that
could play a role,
will
it may not play a role. There's instances that it shows that it has, but it hasn't been conclusive.
that will go crickets. That will go crickets. No one will pay attention to that.
But
So
that's
now
the truth, right?
it is the truth, but that's why the truth doesn't trend. It doesn't go viral,
Yep. It's like, once again, like online content takes mixed, information of
Yeah.
research, and they sell it like if it's a proven hard fact, irrefutable truth.
That's how they sell their programs, though. Like, if you think about it, people have their whole livelihoods around that. So they kind of have to.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the dark triad. Yay.
Oh yeah, like all you crazy women like bad boys.
Yeah, so this idea that women are wired to want narcissists and psychopaths and dangerous men. What do you have to say about that?
See, this right there is like another exaggeration.
Mm,
Some studies found that dark triad traits could seem attractive in certain settings, in some settings, but could seem attractive, right? It doesn't mean like it's
yeah.
definitive. But even the research that comes with warnings about manipulation, fake confidence in like short-term situations. More recent work like makes the picture more complicated and does not support like an easy claim that women broadly want monsters, and especially
Mm.
for long-term relationships. It
Okay,
doesn't prove that.
I said this saying a while back that when you are with a man who looks like a killer, you get treated differently. Like people treat you different in public. They don't mess with you. Like I think all women want that type of protection from a man, and
Mhm.
they have a tendency to misconstrue, if they're not aware, which most women are not, they have a tendency to misconstrue what the difference between a man who's protective versus somebody who's going to end up harming them in the long run. And I think where that kind of gets, that nuance gets left off.
Yeah, like
Fine.
so I like to use this like phrase, like, so remember the movie Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe?
No.
The C.S. Lewis book turned into a movie. Well, there's this part where like little Lucy is talking to Mr. Beaver, and little Lucy goes, I'm quite scared to be Aslan. He's a lion. Is he safe? And he's like, no, bitch, he's a fucking lion. But he's good, right? He's good. And there's a difference between safe and good, right?
Mm,
I think that people misconstrue. They think that if you're good, that means you must be safe. No, being good, it does not mean you're safe. It just means that you're good, that you're not using your abilities or your powers for harm or for evil, that you're not doing it to harm other people. You're doing it to like, for their benefit, or you're not going to
mm.
harm anybody.
I think it has a lot to do with like self-control, like a man who actually is capable of violence. But
Exactly.
he has to have that self-control because he knows he's capable of it. It's the ones who don't have self-control that actually are the most dangerous.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The
Okay,
most
so
dangerous.
I think everybody's waiting to hear this next one, right? We're gonna get into the documentary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get into that documentary. Yeah.
So this is where kind of like what we've already been talking about kind of comes all together, right?
Yeah.
The documentary, like, and the talk around it shows like the manosphere as a money-making content system built around controversy, anti-feminist talk, identity, and grievances. Really, right?
Yeah.
So
like it's the exaggerated evolutionary psychology that does well in that world, basically. It
yeah,
performs.
and
It performs well online. It performs. It's a good business model for them. So,
was it a hit piece? Yeah,
yeah,
it was. I mean, like, there's no way to deny it.
I think like everything, doesn't matter what it is, stats, studies, it's all going to be biased to some point, right?
Yeah, and
But there's
so
truth in the gray. There's truth in the gray.
we live in a gray world. It's not black and white. As much as we may want it to be, the world is not black and white. It is very gray. And what it did was, like, it gave grievance a lab coat in a way, right? It let someone sound cold, rational, and make it sound really scientific, while really just feeding more bitterness, you know?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was kind of like the sound bites that you hear online, and then taking that and like trying to separate that and say that this is their real world, right? Which we know it's not. So that's where it was misconstrued.
Yeah, it basically, you see a lot of the sales pitch.
Right. That's what I think that's what it exposed. It exposed too that like not everybody is there trying to help men. Like not everybody is actually there for that.
If anything, let me just say this: there's a lot of good in the manosphere. I know tons of good content creators in the manosphere that are truly here to help men, and that are really dedicated to,
and that have really
good,
really good actionable solutions too. Like we know a few of them. I've done some shows with them. You know, they give really good solutions, so you can learn. You know, I think, but unfortunately, most people don't think for themselves, so they just kind of like, it's like the blind leading the blind kind of thing, I guess. I don't know.
And this is where, like, I think the manosphere has a problem, is that the creators in the space do not like call out the bad actors, right? So it lets the bad actors stay in there, while the good actors are working on trying to improve men. They're like, I'm not getting involved, I'm just trying to help my guys.
Nobody wants to make any enemies, correct?
And
so everyone's just like sided.
like, it's like, well, if you know they're a bad actor, why aren't you calling them out?
Well, it's like, okay, because they use manosphere as like an umbrella term for everything or everyone who talks about the red pill. So it's like, if you're in that space, you can't call them out, because now you're going against everything you've been teaching. Like that's how they make you feel. So everyone kind of just like, how's that honest? How's that genuine?
It's like, we have to be solid. We have to be a unit. Like we can't let us fracture and let them see us fracturing, because then if we do, then they'll break us apart, and then they will, cause us to destroy each other. So
they're like
not talking about it.
Yeah, they're attacking one side, but then using it to market themselves. I think that's where the hypocrisy comes in,
Well, that's what it is. It's like the contradiction is like making money off of it. Like, a lot of like the manosphere attacks, like, definitely they'll call out women, while still making money from the same attention economy built around those women, right? So if they're an OnlyFans girl, they'll tell guys, don't get with OnlyFans women, but then do content with a bunch of OnlyFans women.
Or they're all women are whores, but then only have a certain type of women that they're surrounded by that have OnlyFans pages, basically.
Do you want me to play a clip from the movie that kind of shows this? Okay.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I just think she's disgusting, bro.
Hold on.
You did with Bonnie Blue, I thought.
You saw that?
Yeah, it was interesting.
I just think she's disgusting, bro. I just think she's absolutely repulsive.
You've got 500,000 people on your Telegram, right?
Yeah.
And you're advertising OnlyFans girls on there.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a contradiction there?
No, because I openly say I don't give a fuck, and I'm doing it for money.
Right there, like.
It's funny because like the whole thing, that was the whole video, just that little clip. Like, why did I just watch that whole thing? That was the only part of the whole thing.
Well, I mean, and you're like, well, maybe that's just the one guy. Maybe like there's like maybe there is more moral. Maybe there are moralistic and people operate morally in this space. Well, let me provide you, like, it's echoed throughout, right? That morals are not relevant in this space.
Oh, really? How come?
Well, they said the red pill has to be amoral. Like rule 0 stood for like whatever works,
Okay.
like works, right? It's
So didn't they
if
say like those guys are like irrelevant or whatever? Didn't they say that?
yeah, like there a lot of people were saying, like, a lot of the creators that were featured in this, like, HS Tiki Taki, like he's irrelevant. People make themselves look silly or whatever, like.
Because my question is, okay,
Or even
let's say
Sneeko, like they called out Sneeko, saying Sneeko is a joke, he's not relevant, right?
the only thing I have to ask is like, okay, let's just say that all these are the new guys and all they do is parrot, right? Okay. I can see how that would happen. We just got done saying that that's what people do, right? For sound bites. They kind of parrot each other. But then like where are they parroting it from? That's what I want to know.
So you want to go like where's the source, right? Real quick, like Professor Lars says, like pro wrestling, right? It's all work. Like the influencers got something out of it, the journalists got something out of it, and everyone got exposure. Like it's a way to, like, to get eyes on them, and now people are looking up their content and seeing what they're saying, and now they're making more money off of it because ad revenue, right? But let me play this.
Yeah, and that's I wanted to bring that up for like the best thing to do, guys, is just move silently, shut up. Like if you don't make content, you just, hey, women are the ones talking. They're gonna talk themselves to death about what is right, and neither of them are gonna have your best interest at heart. Play the game, and really we want to win. We don't care about being right.
Okay, so what does that mean?
So we want to win. We don't care about being right. Like,
so is that what you mean by amoral? Like it's not about.
It's about like winning. So whatever works. So like, rule 0, that's what it means. Whatever works. So we're not going to be not allowing morals to determine whether or not you should utilize this thing or not. Like the red pill has to be amoral. It's just supposed to be objective. So leave your morality at the door.
But how does that work? Like, okay, I could say that I want somebody's purse, so I'm going to chop off their hand. That's going to give me their purse, right? Like that works. Like I got her purse, I chopped off her hand. But like, how would that end goal? How would that be good for the society? Like, I don't know.
Nobody cares. They don't care. It's irrelevant. Society is irrelevant. Did it meet your needs? Did you get what you needed out of it?
But then that means that rape would be fine. That means rape would be fine.
Yeah, grape juice.
Right. Yeah, that means okay, because that would work to bring back our like let's just do grape to bring back our pop.
That would be like a rule 0. Like, well, if it works, it works,
right?
It
is. It's not what should be, but I mean it is.
No, it's not about what is, it's not about what ought, it's about what is.
Right. That's what they're saying now.
That's exactly what they're saying. They're saying it's not about what ought to be, it's what is, and then operating with that knowledge.
So if you bring up anything to do with like what should be, then what does that mean? Where does that
Well, then now you're being moralistic.
And what does that mean?
Well,
that's like, what is that supposed to mean? Like,
I'll play it.
And he'll go, why are you OnlyFans girls all whores? And shaking, thumping the Bible and everything. Like he was basically doing the same thing Andrew Wilson does every time he's on whatever podcast. It's just like he's just holding bitches accountable, appeals more to the emotional state of guys who are moralistic because that they're speaking the same language. Really, they're making emotional appeals. The only people who get to talk about this are women, and once again, traditional conservative women. So you're going to tell me that the red pill is the flip side of feminism? Fuck you. Traditional conservatism is the flip side of feminism.
So, like, if you talk about from a moralistic standpoint, if you try to interject morality into it, then they're saying that it's emotionalism. You're being emotional.
Okay, so then that would mean that's why he's saying that the Christian conservatives, because they come from a moralistic standpoint, now they're being emotional. So that's why they're closer to feminism. That's what he's trying to say.
Yes, he's saying like that.
Wow.
And so
Hmm.
to say that morality shouldn't play or should play, is crazy because I think not everything is good for you. Like
Well, I
not
mean,
everything should be an option in a
yeah, because
society that functions. If you want to have a healthy society, not everything should be utilized, right?
well, here's my argument. So I had this argument today on Twitter with a girl who was telling me that women can have babies when they're 45.
Yeah,
And
geriatric babies, like
and I had, because my whole, like, I've had a few tweets about why it's important to start a family young, and be a young mom, be a young wife, but then also you can watch those kids grow up. You can be a relatively young grandma, or at least there for the grandkids, right? Like if you wait till 45, now you're at 60 when they're 20, you probably won't even be alive for your own grandchild. Like, so I was trying to have a debate, an argument. I was saying, okay, listen, just because something can happen, like we know that we can get pregnant at 40, we know that's possible. Is that actually good for the child? Is that looking out for the people involved, or is that more of like a selfish decision, right? So just because something is possible and it achieves the goal for us personally as individuals, how is that going to be good? That doesn't mean that we should be doing it, because how is that good for other people? If we have to step on other people to get ahead, how is that good? How is that right? How is that going to be good for the future for us? Because actually we're punishing ourselves if we look, it's proven. We have a population crisis right now. So we might be doing what's easy and giving us our goal now, right? Right. It's giving us what we need now. Okay. So let's do it. But how is that helping us long term? It's not.
Yeah, well, this helps me get the self gratification that I want. So this helps me, and it helps me get what I want. So that it must be good. Well, that's not necessarily the case. Like, what may be good for you right now may not be good for you later on, right?
Long
And
term. Yeah.
you should think about that. Or you harming that person may actually come back and affect you in a negative way. You should probably think before you act, right? And people be like, nah, I'm good. I'm not worried about that, or it's not going to bother me. Like I'm about me doing my own thing. Right.
Yeah,
And it's
because how is that different than feminism? If we are moving, I thought that this was a place to help men against feminism. Like that's what I thought it was for, to really help for there to be a place for men to support men. How are we helping men if the actions we're doing is harming us long term and no different than women who are moving for their self-benefit? How is that any different?
well, when you have two groups of people being equally hedonistic, it's going to be detrimental, right? When women are telling other women, do you boo boo, don't do what's right, do what's right by you,
YOLO,
right?
basically.
Yeah, and then you got guys doing the same thing, or like guys are saying, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna do what's in my best interest. Fuck everybody else, fuck
Yeah,
who it hurts."
it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter who
It's
gets
just
hurt
as
as long as
bad.
I win. As long as I win, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just as bad in that sense.
And isn't that the same philosophy that was kind of exposed within the Manosphere documentary?
It did. Like, I mean, because later on in the clip with like uh H or HT Tiki Taki or Iki Aki or whatever his name is, like he compared him to Bonnie Blue, and he got really upset about that. Just for you guys know, like the people watching, we did drop the link for those that want to come up and have a conversation about this. You're more than welcome to, as long as you stay on topic. We're staying on topic. We're not going to be like hopping around and talking about things that are not on the subject matter. But you will need to prove that you're a real person and you're not trying to like porn bomb anybody. We don't want to see your penises. We really don't care what your mom told you. Nobody likes it. Keep it to yourself. And we can have a discussion about this, because I think there's a lot of nuance here, because this is not like us bashing the manosphere. This is pointing out certain flaws within it, and that it could actually it could improve by implementing certain.
Well, yeah, like you have to be able to course correct. Like I know in my own life, like I've had to course correct several times. Like I've had to say, wait a second, what am I doing this for? You know, how is this going to help others around me? How is it going to help my husband? How is it going to help my children, right? So I've had to course correct. I think it's important to say, listen, I messed up. I'm sorry. I should have done things differently. I don't think anybody ruins their life through one mistake. I think where things go wrong is when you make a mistake, you don't admit it, you get caught in the mistake, you double down, and then you go ahead and you point fingers and become the victim of a situation that you created. That's where people really ruin things.
Yeah, and for those that are listening on X, I just went into each one of our chats and I put in the link. Also, if you look at my retweet of the post that Gia did, I also put the link in the chat there as well, so you guys could click the link if you guys want to engage in this conversation. You know, so what we have to understand that there are sex differences, right? Men and women are different.
Mhm.
That goes without saying. And yes, attraction does matter. And yes, status matters. And yes, you know what? Beauty matters.
Mhm.
And yes, women can be opportunistic, but you know what? Men can too. And yes, social media and, you know, these
Like
apps have distorted the market. All this
like
is
men,
true.
yeah, we know men like titties and ass, okay?
We
Because
love titties and ass. I
a
don't know
beautiful
a man that
woman
doesn't like titties and ass.
signals fertility, health. It signals like a good biological, you know, like for your children. It's a good thing for your children. That's
We're
gonna
not
come.
thinking about that when we were first thinking about titties and ass. All right. We're
But
not thinking like, oh, those are some good milkers for my son. No, they're like, those look like fun.
but we
Right? Like,
also know that women like men will be like, oh, all women care about is money. Well, actually, women care about competence. Okay, they care about being with a competent man, and
yep.
competence usually brings money. It's not the
Well,
like the
really,
driver is competence, and then the money
you
comes.
think about it, it's problem solving.
Mhm.
Are you capable of problem solving? We're going to need resources for our children. Can you problem solve that? And can you
Right.
acquire a lot of resources so we are not just barely making it, but we have enough, you know, more than enough, right? In case of something, some harsh winter or something, right? Problem solving proves competency. Are you
Mhm.
capable of problem solving?
Right.
That's really what it looks like. And guys are looking at like, are you able to stay hot for more than 5 minutes? Like, okay,
Mhm.
like when I get old, do I still want to grab your butt, or am I gonna be like, God damn it?
Well,
You know, like,
they don't want a woman to change. Like, you know, this is another reason why it's not that they're technically saying you're used up, you know, after a certain age. It's just that most women at that age tend to like want to go directly into, I got to have this done and that, because they're on a timetable. They're not actually enjoying themselves with the man, and the man wants to have some time with you. Like he doesn't want you to go directly into mommy mode and ignore him. You know, he wants to be the priority.
and for those that like they were wondering like about, and I say that the red pill is saying that's amoral. I'm not making that up. I'm not like saying this is like, you know, based off of Glenn's understanding. I mean, one of
Mhm.
the leading writers in the space wrote about it.
Mhm.
It's clear as day. You know, it literally says that, you know, the red pill with respect to intersexual dynamics is and will always be a praxology. It is unconcerned with value judgments. The issue of how one interprets the data presented by the red pill praxeology as right or wrong is an exercise in subjectivity and personal belief. In
Mhm.
essence, the red pill should always be about what is, not what should be, not what seems moral, immoral, or amoral. So it's not about morality.
Mm.
So that does mean like, so when you see guys like HS Tiki Taki, he said he doesn't care whether he's pushing out, you know, OnlyFans content and telling guys not to watch it, but at the same time promoting these girls, right?
Mm.
He doesn't care. He said, I'm all about the money. It's amoral to him. I don't care. It
Mm.
means nothing to me. As long as I'm getting paid and getting rich, as long as my end goal is being met.
It's what
Everything.
is, it's not what should be. Mm.
Exactly.
So if you bring up that argument to anybody within the space, they're going to be like, you're being emotional. That's feminism.
Yes, they're going to say you're being moral, you're being moralistic, and
Mm.
that's emotionalism. You're being a bitch.
Mm.
Bitches are emotional, right? And you know, morality is not emotionalism. You know, It's just not like, you know, trying to say you're making decisions to avoid, you know, bad actions or what may possibly be an outcome. That is more, you know, um,
Well, I just said, like, I use an example that had nothing to do with moralism. I just said, if you have to look down the road, like foresight, right? So like, what's going to happen 5 years, 10 years, not just with you, but with your
yeah.
kids, with your wife, with the people around you, with the world that we're living in? Like, how is our actions contributing to that? That's what I
Well,
want
it's
to know.
funny. Like this is like, so I've had like a bit in spaces, on X where people were like, we should legalize prostitution because
Mm.
then that way guys could get laid. You know, the guys that are not getting laid, they could go get laid, right? And it's like, um, how does that help? Like, I thought you said you wanted to find a wife and someone to raise kids with, and you wanted, you know, have offspring. If we just legalize prostitution and encourage women to become
Well,
prostitutes, then
so
aren't you just going to be complaining that they're going to be less marriageable women?
I had done a couple tweets recently about why men are part of the sexual liberation. And I got so much pushback from men saying that we're not responsible for the sexual liberation. And you could pull up
Oh,
empirical data.
that's completely incorrect. You know, men have contributed and played a role in the sexual liberation.
Well, you can pull up plenty of empirical data on this and show why just the stats alone on the men, there was I think they took a study of like 115, no, it was 1,015 men and women. And
Mhm.
out of that group, 95% of men said they requested sex before commitment. And only 85% of those women agreed to sex before commitment. So it's like, why are we trying to say that they do not benefit off of sexual liberation? Yes, maybe
Oh, I
that.
capitalize a lot off of female
Like,
sexual liberation.
I think we have to be honest here that both sides are contributing to the problems today, because it's, maybe they don't agree with it. I'll give you that. Maybe you don't agree with it. And it's like kind of like what that guy said on the
Yeah, I
documentary.
mean, like the best way to
It's
put it,
disgusting to me, but hey, I don't care. All I care is I get mine.
like think about this, like, you know, a lot of men wanted, you know, sex separated from duty. Like, you know, they wanted it separated from marriage, fatherhood, and like the societal consequences that come with, you know, sex, right? The sexual revolution gave men just that, right? It made pleasure the priority rather than obligation at the end of the day, right? Men rewarded the cultural the by that promoted it, right? Like porn, hookup culture, right? You
Look at
know,
any thirst trap online is
yeah.
flooded and viral. Okay. Like, you can look in the comments, you can do the numbers. This is not a minority problem. This is a
And you know what actually, like,
majority.
you know what generation like actually really pushed this the most?
What?
Boomers.
Mm,
That's boomer behavior, you know?
wow.
You think about it, because the previous generations were more about traditionalism and duty, you know, and
But wouldn't that be emotionalism if you start talking about that type of stuff? Like tradition
well,
and duty and all that?
sure, I guess apparently it is now. So let me just like, okay, let me actually hit some of this chat up, because we got some like people chiming in here, and I want to, like, you know, at least like respond to some of these things in the chat. One says Alpha, the first one says paternity fraud is a topic in the manosphere. Yes. Do you think that is a topic that should be discussed? Absolutely. I've discussed it in long length. I've even talked about it with James Sexton on the show. I even wrote a bill and drafted a bill on how to address it. You know, so, and he agreed with a
Mhm.
lot of the bill. The one thing he didn't agree with was like no fault divorce. He follows up with saying child support abuse is a topic talked about in the manosphere. Is that a topic that should be discussed? Absolutely. We discussed that too. Actually, we had somebody that used to work with the child support division come on and actually tell us what goes on behind the scenes. You can look at that up. It's a great conversation, and we approached that problem as well. Women file divorce more than men. That is a manosphere topic. Should that be discussed? Absolutely. But also
Okay,
what should be discussed is why. And
so
we talked about that with James Sexton as
we
well.
had a talk with James Sexton, and there's a lot of stats floating around, like 50% of divorces, right? 50% of divorces end, or 50% of marriages end in divorces. That claim is
Yeah.
false. Like, we know now that's debunked. Okay. We also know that the 70% of divorces filed by women is a file. It's not the cause. So James Sexton said it perfectly. He said there are a lot of men who will leave marriages and not even come back. They're not filing the papers. They're not actually the ones that are saying, listen, let's get this done. They just leave. They just get married or move on with somebody else. So like, all this is nuance that's not being told online.
Yeah, like they like I mean, I think he said out of the 70% of divorces, like half of that is initiated or encouraged by the lawyer, because the woman is not getting any money or any support, and she has these bills, or like the house is, about to be foreclosed on or whatever, they're about to be in the street, and she has the kids, and like they're like, hey, we need some help, and they're like, we can't help you until you file this paperwork,
Right.
so we can't get an injunction in and such to get you some benefits or relief.
Like, we can't equal women filing as it was woman's fault for the divorce. Like, that's where the problem's coming online. Like, we want to say, because that's the filing, that must mean that it's all woman's fault. That's false.
Now, I would say like where no fault divorce plays a role in this, it's like it removed a fault reason for divorce. So now you don't have to have a reason. You just be like, I want out because his breath stinks, right? And then now you could able like say, well, you know what? We were married for 10 years and I got tired of his stinky breath, so I'm divorcing him. But there's no fault here, but I want to get paid as if there was a fault. I want him to be responsible financially for me as if there was a fault. Now that's problematic. And, that should be addressed in the courts. And when that will be addressed in the courts, who knows? Because it's predominantly men that have wrote these laws, predominantly men that have continued to vote on these laws and pass legislation. So men are not helping men, in all honesty. Men are helping themselves, pandering to women. One more, he says, like, well, actually a few more. He goes, alimony is paid by men, paid more by men than women. Is alimony constitutional? I don't know if it is constitutional. Like, I wouldn't be able to say whether it is or not. I have to read the Constitution a little bit further.
So there's been some recent updates to that. I know in Florida, for instance, they changed the laws on alimony.
Yeah, like you can't do it for lifetime.
Like, there's some updates to that, but ultimately we know that men still to this day make more. So we have a whole episode on this, actually. If you want to see what's going on in the courts, how do they figure all this out, why men end up paying, or what's the figures, we did a whole episode on this. So check that out. It's on alimony in courts.
And also, like, like when you look at it, it's like, there's a lot of factors that play into this. It's never black and white like people think it is. And again, when you look at it, a lot of the laws and legislation that are hurting men have all been written and drafted by men, right? And just real quick, just to show you guys what we're talking about. Let me share the screen here. When we say we talked about it, we really have, like, this one is about porn, right? With we had a former adult film actress, Candace, on. We talked about defamation lawsuits. We covered the Anna and Pearl debate, the war on stay-at-home moms. We talked about Marxism, feminism, and masculinity with Dinesh D'Souza.
Yeah, right? Find the one on alimony. We have one on that as well.
We had swipe culture. We had Mike Sartain on here. We talked about that. Let's see. Child support exposed right here. This is the one.
It goes into what happens in the courts, like how they figure that out. Like we want to immediately make it seem like this is all woman. Like that's what the consensus is online. And yeah, I agree. Women definitely are a problem. I'm not saying that they aren't, but we can't ignore that there's another side to it. And that's where it gets dangerous.
Yeah, like there's a lack of accountability on both sides. Alpha, the first one comes up with male genital mutilation, circumcision. Yeah, that should be discussed too, and we've talked about it. He says male spaces men are entitled to their own space, free of women, sure, then stop inviting them in it. That is a manosphere topic. Should that be discussed? Yes. And if men wanted it, then they should stop inviting women in it. But they don't. Baby deletion is a manosphere topic. Absolutely, we talk about it too. Women have killed more people than all the wars combined.
But here's another thing though. If we start getting it, that's another thing that I get upset with about the abortion thing. We have to actually understand that these are not just women walking into abortion clinics by themselves. Okay. These are not just women. Like, these are families. These are husband and wives getting abortions. Like, these are more than one person's decision here. And that's not being talked about.
So I encourage, like, anybody that's watching the stream right now, if you have a discrepancy or you have a problem with what we're saying, the link is pinned on both of our YouTube channels, for one. So you could come up here and state your grievances and we could actually address this. Two, you guys are thinking that we're attacking the manosphere. We're not attacking the manosphere. We're actually pointing out the inconsistencies and the problems within the space that actually are causing more harm than good. When you have guys that are actually seeking help, and you got creators are telling people, well, if you sign up for my community or you buy my program, and you're going to get X, Y, and Z out of it, and they're financially capitalizing on the pain that men are dealing with.
Yeah.
And for very minimal gain, that's problematic.
Yeah, male pain is
and
getting turned into monetization. That's what we are exposing here. Male pain should not be a business plan.
And like, if like they are able to capitalize off male pain, then the good creators that are seeing bad actors capitalizing financially off of male pain, and they're saying, you know what? We're amoral. Don't give a fuck. Don't care who it hurts. I'm getting paid. Then those good creators probably should say something. They should point them out. They should call them out. Say, hey, this is a bad actor here. This person is not doing good for this space. This person is trying to harm you guys and make money off you guys.
Yeah, all throughout history, that is how behavior and courses were corrected. Is communities and people within that community help people stay on track. Otherwise, anything goes. And if anything goes, what is our future?
Exactly. And okay, so we got somebody else, Shanta, I don't know, you know your name. He goes, manosphere is not a lie. Nobody said it was a lie. It's a reflection of society. Nobody disagreed with that. Manosphere is a counter narrative to toxic feminism. Is it though? Because it doesn't change the outcome. Like a counter would be a correcting of course direction, right?
What's this? Yeah, like tell me the solutions to it. Like, not getting married is not a solution. Okay, tell me.
It also says, he follows up with only elite men were responsible for the sexual liberation. Here's a question: what is considered an elite man? And have you ever operated, or have you ever had sex with somebody that you weren't married to? And if you say yes, well, then you contributed to the sexual liberation. You capitalized off the sexual liberation. You benefited from it. The same problem that you're saying that women are unmarriageable today because their body count is high. You participated in that woman's body count being high, right? Or maybe considered being unmarriageable today, right?
Also, like, if we're gonna promote, like, comment on sexual content, or push out. Even there was a bunch of magazine covers recently, or brands that are now starting to use more of like sex sells, and they're using, certain models or whatever. And everyone's like, good, we're finally back on track, But I mean, that's part of sexual liberation. Like, that is part of saying it's okay that women are doing this. Like, if we promote it, if we encourage it, if we reward it, like it, retweet it, we're part of that.
Yeah. And then he follows up with saying women wanted rights, freedom, and sexual liberation. Now women blame men. No, actually, I blame them both. I blame men and women.
Both men and women wanted that freedom.
Both men and women are responsible for where we're at. Blame the boomers. Blame the boomers, because they're the ones that really benefited, capitalized, and pushed this. Responsibility without accountability is slavery. Actually, no, it's responsibility without authority is slavery. If you're going to quote Rollo right, make sure you do it correctly. He says a soldier killed his wife due to paternity fraud. That is horrible. That is horrible. Both the paternity fraud and the loss of life. Now that child doesn't have a mother. What good did that do? And then if the father, well, he's not the father, but he's now going to be facing time in prison. And what good did that do? A woman gives sex, men give relationships. Sure, at the very basic nature of the exchange, you could say that.
We did an episode just recently with your boy, Justin, and he explained it perfectly. He said that for men who are just looking for sex, right? They don't want a relationship. They don't want a commitment. Yeah, it is a very simple transaction. Okay. But when you have a relationship with a woman, a man is not simple at all. He is going to have many, many things that he's going to require from that woman. And it is not simple by any means.
Yep. He says paternity fraud, no fault divorce, child support, promiscuity, parental alienation, passport bros, manosphere is lit. I don't know what that means. Female promiscuity, like it's funny, is one thing to talk about female promiscuity, but then encourage female promiscuity at the same time.
Like if you are going to say that you don't like female promiscuity, but then you make money off of their promiscuity or their sexual liberation, their freedom online, then you can't actually say that you hate it. You actually promote it. You condone it.
Yeah. He says, no matter the inconsistency, Glenn, feminism does not care about men's issues. Nobody said that it did.
Yeah, we didn't say that. We know that.
I just because if I'm critical of certain things that are going on in the manosphere does not mean I'm supporting feminism, or does not mean I don't agree with things that are in the manosphere. I could be critical of something and say, hey, this is something that's wrong. This is what I see is wrong. It should be fixed. Like, and I think that, you know, for
the solution is not ignorance, guys. Like the solution is not pretending that one side is the problem while the other isn't contributing to it. That's not a solution. That's not helping the situation. We have to start looking at this. If we're going to say that the manosphere promotes truth, we have to be truthful.
Yeah, you got to be truthful across the board. And, you know, like the alpha one first, or the first one says, the biggest supporters and promoters of the manosphere red pill will be women. Yes, modern women behavior will promote the manosphere more than anything. Maybe as confirmation bias. Right? I mean, the manosphere, the red pill is supposed to be written in pencil.
I love these blanket statements. Like, let's talk more about it. Like, give me details. Okay, so if you're going to make a statement like that, let's get into actual details. I want to actually have a debate. Let's talk about facts.
Well, I did pin the link down for everybody. The link is pinned on my channel. The link is pinned on her channel. It's also put into the X chat. So if you want to come up, you don't even got a cam up.
Yeah,
you could just be uncammed and talk. I mean, if you really have an issue with what we're saying, let's talk about it. Let's get into the nuance. Let's not make blanket statements and just, like, you know, say things that are not true.
Yeah.
What is women's innate biological nature? Manipulation with the gynocentric society and marriage laws against men are discussed in the manosphere. Yes, they are. But is there any solutions about it? What actual solutions are being provided? What's going on, DL Saint? You know what? You could click the link. You would be a good contrarian on this topic. Please, you know, click the link. Join us if you want to talk about this, because, you know, I think people think that we're attacking something that we're not really attacking. We're actually calling out poor behavior that should be corrected in order to improve, to actually get things the way that they ought to be.
What example are we giving the new generation that's coming in? And we know that we have a bunch of 14, 15-year-olds, teenagers online searching for that example. Like, they don't have father figures.
Oh,
they need an example. You brought that up.
Yeah, I'm gonna show a clip of what 14, 15-year-olds are looking at, you know, now. Girls are.
What example are we leading them if all we do is call women hoes and women are horrible, and, you know, there's no, like, what example? We're contributing to the divide. We're contributing to the gender wars. How is that helping anything? It's profitable. I give you that.
Like this is just as equally bad right here. I'm going to show you. And this is something that this has to be considered grooming. I don't know what else is. If people don't consider this grooming, I think there needs to be a problem. But Sophia Rain, Sophia Rain.
Mm.
You know,
I called that one out. Yeah.
You sure did.
Hi, did I go to college? Am I an astronaut?
No, not exactly.
What do you mean, not exactly?
Well, you started working at a restaurant when you were in high school, and then you somehow became famous on the internet.
Famous? Am I for being a beauty influencer?
Sort of. People definitely like you for your looks and your personality.
I'm a Kardashian then. Oh,
It's an interesting way to put it. You definitely have the money, but not that level of fame yet.
Yeah.
what about a boyfriend?
No, not right now. Dating's a little complicated with the job you have.
Complicated.
What job?
I'll tell you when you're older, but what I can tell you now is that you own your dream car, you own a farm, and you're also traveling the world in your early 20s.
Are my parents proud?
Yeah, they're proud of you. You also retired them.
What?
Oh, I lost your voice.
Would that not be promoting OnlyFans to young girls right there? That's horrible behavior.
We know why she is their poster child. It's because she does as she's told, and she helps recruit new young girls into the industry. And we know where that leads. We know the future from just that alone. So,
yep. Real quick, we got Professor Lars in the back. Professor Lars, I cannot pull you up because your camera is not connected. It says device not connected. If there are ways to connect it, you don't have to turn it on, but you just need to have it connected. That way you could actually come up and actually we could hear you. I know you're in the back chat. You said something. Okay, cool. You said 1 second. Thank you. So, I mean, you guys are saying like, top 20% of men are going to manipulate them like 90% of women. Manosphere is far below 70% of men. Then so be it. Well, that's not actually true. You're trying to use the OkCupid data, and we kind of went over this, and I'll go in a little bit further detail here for you based off that. And here we go. So when it comes to the whole 80% of men are invisible, women only want the top 20% of men. And that's based off of the OkCupid data. Women rating men, less desirable, right? On average. So what it says is that the OkCupid graph is supports a broader claim about female nature and inflated female mate value. But the original OkCupid write-up says that although women rated many men as below the midpoint in looks, their actual messaging behavior was slightly more selective. So it's not some clean proof that women only want this tiny elite group of men, right? They're willing to engage with men that they even consider below average in looks. So the 80-20 rule is not like the best thing. The one thing, can I say one thing about
that's a perfect example of a soundbite.
Yeah, like he says, oh, can y'all name one thing the manosphere gets right? Yes. The medium is the message. It's not what people say, it's what people do. That was a blog written by Rollo Tomasi. Okay, so here's Professor Lars. You don't have to have your camera on if you don't want. But I'm going to pull you up and we can have a conversation with what you have an issue with what we're saying. Good evening, good morning, good night to wherever you are.
Hello, how's everybody today?
Good.
I'm
How are
doing
you?
well. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Hold on. A little bit of a echo here.
No worries. We got time.
There we go. Found the problem.
Was it the other tab open? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
YouTube,
YouTube was still open and I had the volume up on it. So
no problem. Go ahead. Do you have a problem with what we are saying? What we're presenting? Anything so far?
No, I don't have a any problem at all. I think you guys are pretty spot on. I'll be honest with you. Like I said earlier, I thought the documentary was kind of a little bit of a work. I'm sure that there are people out there that are extreme with this, but it just kind of felt like these guys were really trying to bolster themselves, the journalists and the influencers, and it just kind of it felt kind of fake, like they were trying to really put something out there to make it so controversial, like I'm in a one-way monogamous relationship, things of that nature. It just seemed kind of fake to me. So
Like, I mean, I think that, like, when people hear that, like I get a lot of Christians get upset with this, because I'll say that, nowhere in the Bible does it say that polygyny is a sin. Actually, it said that God gave it structure. He said, if you're going to do it this way. He gave David multiple wives. He said, I gave you all of your master's wives, and if that wasn't enough, I would have given you more. He was chastising him on his actions when it came to Bathsheba and killing Uriah. So there was some problems there that he was addressing, right? It wasn't the fact that he had multiple wives. It was the fact that he murdered somebody and covered up adultery, right? So when I say that, they attack me, right? But to say that it's a bad thing people get upset, right? So when people hear like Justin Waller say, like, my wife, we have a open on one end and closed on the other, people find that problematic. Like, how dare he? Like, well, if it's working for them, right, and it's not causing a detrimental to society or anything, it'll be one thing if he lied about it, hit it, and then caused damage that way, right? He was upfront, open, and honest with it. That shouldn't be problematic.
From what I could tell, just of the girlfriend, fiancés, whatever was going on, they didn't seem to really have a problem with it. There was one guy that kind of hid his wife and his kids, and I get where he's kind of coming from there on that, but we really didn't get her reaction to.
Well, I mean, like,
to that whole
about
thing,
it in the second half, right? In the second half, she did talk about it because he was in the kitchen with her, and they brought it up. Yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah, I missed about 10 minutes of the documentary, trying to get to you guys to see it, so I didn't get to probably.
Towards the second half of the film, he gets invited over to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and there was he shows the wife and in the house that they live in out there. Real like, they even after
watch the rest of it. Like I said, I was trying to get to you guys, and also I'm studying for a master's, so
well, congratulations. I hope you do well with that.
Congratulations.
I got 4.0 so far, so yeah.
There you go. Any questions so far about anything that we have said? We do have other people waiting, so we're going to bring them up after you.
No, man, I'm agreeing with what everything that you said. I wasn't for sure what the conversation was going to be like with this, and so far you guys are pretty spot on.
Thank you. I appreciate you listening.
Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully you'll follow us, hit the like, subscribe, so you can actually get updates or when we're coming live.
Yeah, I already do the Gia's page, and awesome. I'll. This is my first time on StreamYard, so.
You have to come on again. Like, give us your feedback on what you want to hear, and come on again.
All right,
if you have an idea of a topic you want us to cover, we could even do that too.
All right, sounds good.
Sounds good. You have a good one, Professor.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, next up we have the one and only, the bald head. He's known for his bald head and his blackness. No, he's not. He is black though, but he's a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, let me bring up the one and only Mr. DL Saint.
Hey man, we gotta work on your intro skills. I might just send you
a lot of things.
You want to give me like a bio next time?
Yeah, I just have to write something up for you, man. Give you a few options, like, hey, just
He's the black
here.
Mr. Clean.
How y'all doing?
Good, good. Yeah, I've been saying that for a long time. We got to work on a lot of things. We got room for growth over here.
So
Absolutely. We're starting in the basement, working our way up.
Exactly.
exactly. So what are your thoughts on, like, I'm not sure how much you've been listening in, but we were addressing like the whole like the documentary, right? The hit piece per se. As much of as a hit piece as it was, I think it did expose something that I have been saying. I think that you have even agreed to this at times, that there's some bad actors in here that are capitalizing on male pain.
100%.
And I think that was like the main thing that, if anything was the takeaway from it, it was that element from it. Was like, this space is supposed to help men improve, help guys level up and, do better in relationships, or just go out, be able to reach the goals that they aspire to reach, right? To self-improve. But when it's mixed with a bunch of people that are opportunistic and trying to capitalize on your pain and not really help you, and that's allowed to continue, that's a problem, in the space. It leaves men worse off than they were.
It can. I mean, it can, but I mean, you can make that argument towards organized religion.
Oh, absolutely.
Not that I'm trying to. I mean, anything is double edged. So
yes,
when I look at this, it's a hit piece. I mean, you can tell by who this particular guy went after. He wanted to show a certain segment. I want to show this, as opposed to, hey, why are so many young men drawn to this? Why are so many men in general having these issues? And why are they going over here for it? Because that's the message that Scott Galloway is pushing. Scott Galloway is like, look, I don't know. He's talking to mainstream. He's part of mainstream. He's like, look, guys, men are struggling right now. And the one point he makes that always gets the mainstream folks to call them blue pillars, where you want to call them. The one thing he uses, he'll say, hey, if this were happening to women, you guys will be all over it. We'll be setting up schools. we'll be putting money into the sector, but it's happening to men, and no one seems to care. But I think you're correct, man. I haven't watched the documentary yet. It's on my list. In fact, I was about to start watching it when I saw you guys were on. I'm like, let me jump on here. But I've seen the guy who did it. What's his name again?
Clip? Louis
Fox, whatever. I saw him on, was it Chris Williamson?
Yeah.
I was watching that, and from that interview, you can tell what the thing was.
Where his angle was.
Right. Well, here's this guy. He's out here living his life. He's doing his thing. He's successful at what he does. I mean, people know him except for me. I mean, I had no idea who the guy was, but apparently I'm one of the few people who don't know him. This is what he does. And I think the reason he wanted to pick this particular genre is because his sons were paying attention to what was going on in the manosphere or mano swamp or red pill world, whatever you want to call it. His sons were paying attention. And I believe he probably sat down with his sons and had a conversation and realized his sons were looking for male leadership away from him. And I think that's why he wanted to come in and like shine a light on what's going on. It couldn't get Tate. Tate's been, how many hit pieces have been done on Tate? I mean, they put him in jail. Right.
Let me play you something that, like, this is where I think like this is probably the most like the useful part of that whole documentary. It was probably in like one little clip, because it really kind of shines a light on what I would say consider as the problem with the space.
Netflix might shut you down if it's going right for their thing.
Sneeko already did it. Sneeko already played it. I'm just copying Sneeko's video.
Okay.
So
with Bonnie Blue, I thought was
you saw that?
Yeah, it was interesting.
I just think she's disgusting, bro. I just think she's absolutely repulsive.
You've got 500,000 people on your Telegram, right?
Yeah.
And you're advertising OnlyFans girls on there.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a contradiction there?
No, because I openly say I don't give a fuck and I'm doing it for money.
Right there. Point. So he said he doesn't give a fuck. He's doing it for money. So it's not about helping men. It's about making money. And
For
that
him.
type of act for him, and for actors like him in this space, the good actors should call that out. If they really want to help the men, avoid problems or, getting screwed over, if they're really here to help men, then they should be like, hey, this is bad. We don't align with this. No, this is detrimental. He's trying to capitalize on pain, right?
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but you got to look at the marketing. You got to look at the branding. If you and I are coming and like all we have is the boring truth, we have oatmeal, right? No sugar, no raisins, right? No nothing, no grapes, no bananas. We
No
just
grape?
got oatmeal. We got plain old oatmeal. And here comes a guy, right? It could be TikTok-y, it could be Tate to an extent, it could be Myron to an extent. And they have full-blown pancakes. They got eggs, they got scrambled eggs, they got poached eggs, they got grits. You know what I mean? Yeah, I said grits. They got all that good stuff, right? Which one are you gonna take as the lost person? Like, which one are you gonna? I want, man, that over there looks good over there, right? They got candy. Candy ain't good for you. So what? Tastes good, right? They got all that. So you got to look at that too.
Yes, and see that's part of the choice that they get to the consumer gets to make. But if you're saying, hey, I'm here to help these guys level up, but really you're not really here to help them level up. You're here to help yourself level up off of their pain. That's problematic. That should be enough to say, like, hey, if you are here to help guys, for those there's creators like Paul Benjamin, right? There's a lot of guys that are really here to help guys improve, that are not here to capitalize off of male pain. They're really here to help them. Those guys should have a problem with the tiki-takis or this and that, that are being like the snake oil salesman.
Here's another thing too, like if they're trying to elevate themselves through men's pain and tell these same men who are in pain, hey, you just need to copy what I'm doing and you're going to be there too. You're going to be right along with me. But in reality, they're not really doing that. They're actually keeping them down so that they stay up. How is that good?
Well,
how is
I
that
hear you.
beneficial?
I hear you. Again, it's the same like the analogy I made to if you fall into the wrong religious group, or if you fall into the wrong political group, if you fall into the wrong street group, right? There are good gangs out there. We call them like the Boy Scouts of America. One of the first gangs I ever joined. That's a great set. You
were a Boy Scout?
That's right. Don't I look trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, and reverent? Don't I look like that? That's the thing I like about the Boy Scouts, right, is they really pushed a wholesome message, but there were some religious themes, but it wasn't religious. There were some paramilitary themes, but it wasn't military, right? There was so many things, and I'm not disagreeing with you guys. I think that the bad actors are, just that they're bad actors, and maybe they should, we should do something about it. But there's always going to be people who want to take advantage of the situation. It has to, the consumer or the person who's looking for the help has to make the right choice. I mean, it's like that movie, The Last Crusade, right? The one of the only 3 real Indiana Jones movies, because that fourth one was garbage. So like the Last Crusade was amazing. And that part where they found the Holy Grail, like, choose wisely, right? You have to choose wisely. If you choose wisely, you will get the knowledge of everlasting life and blah, blah, blah. But if you choose poorly, right, you'll turn to dust on the spot. So you have to make that choice. I think the problem we're having in America right now is men are checking out and the manosphere becomes the boogeyman. Men are checking out because the manosphere is saying women are bad. The manosphere is pushing the 80-20 rule. The manosphere this and that. When in fact, society has got to a point where guys are like, this doesn't make any sense for me. Why should I get married? And when there's we agree there's a 50% chance that I'm going to get divorced. She's going to initiate a divorce, and I could lose half my stuff. And
If
for
anything,
a guy
they should
who's
be
looking
mad
for an
at men.
excuse, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if anything, if men are mad about that, they should be mad at the men that have legislated these laws. They should be mad at those in power that change it, do something about it.
I hear, but here's the thing. So now we get into the space. Like, you're a part of the space. I'm a part of the space. Anyone who's having these conversations is a part of the space where they want to be or not. Or Dr. Orion Taraban. part of the space. Michael Certain, all these different people are out here, the good and the bad and the horrific, right? But it's these men, they need to find the good information that they need. I'm not saying, and on my platform, I say it all the time, I'm like, I'm not telling you not to get married. I'm just telling you how the game is played right now. I stay in that space. This is what's going on. I learned this in the Army. Like, this is the mission. They never lied to us. Right? This is what's going on. Here are the chances of us getting out of this alive. We're expecting casualties, all like this stuff. We properly plan and execute. That's all I want to do for guys. I want to tell these guys, like, look, bro, you can in fact get women. You can find good women in America. It's a lot of guys out here. Ain't no good women out here in America. Like, bro, America's a big country. This is a big, big country, bro. You can find beautiful women who are cool in this country, who are raised right. But even if you find her, there's no guarantee that 5 years after you get married, 10 years after you get married, something goes wrong upstairs. She has some sort of change, and she utilizes the system that allows her to walk away and take half. That's all I'm saying. So maybe get a prenup. Maybe don't get married with the government. Maybe try to do it through religiously. Maybe go somewhere else and find her. But to sit here and say she doesn't exist, I don't agree with that. So, but I'm not going to sit here and say, we got to get rid of people in the manosphere. No. Young guys, old guys, whoever, everybody in between, find the right message, man. Like, take the meat, leave the bones, and make a decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you have to, but here's the problem. When you have people that know people are, and this is the problem that I have when they say the red pill has to be amoral, right? The problem I have with that is like, if you're saying that it has to be amoral, then you're saying that anything, whatever works, right? And this is the sentiment of this right here. This soundbite is
advertising OnlyFans girls on there.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a contradiction there?
No, because I openly say I don't give a fuck and I'm doing it for money.
Okay, so you openly don't give a fuck who is hurt, because why? It's amoral. Whatever works. So what he's doing is working to meet his bottom line, his goal. His goal is to make money off of people, to sell his product, to level up the way he wants to, and make content. And he's doing that, and it works. So he doesn't give a fuck. So that's the sentiment, right? Because when they say that morality, the red pill can't be immoral, it has to be amoral, then you are condoning this behavior. You are saying that HS tiki-taki, whatever, that's acceptable because it works. It meets its end goal. That's the praxeology. It's not about morality. It's not about what it is. It's not about what ought to be. It's about what is. So it works.
Here's my take on that, brother. I'm not disagreeing with you. I see where you're coming from this. I look past that, right? Cigarettes will kill you. It says it on the packaging, right? It says it on the package. And there's a really good, I got to send it to you. A movie, what was the name of the movie? Rock and Roller. There's a really good
Rock and Roller with, you're talking about with, what's his name? The guy from, or was it, Venom, right? Isn't he in that movie?
Yeah. Tom Hardy's in there. Like, Rock and Roller has all the big names in there. Tom Hardy's in there. Idris Elba's in there. Yeah, it was a great movie. But in that movie, there was a scene when a guy was talking about cigarettes and, like, the truth. He was talking about the truth. And when you look at it, he used the package of cigarettes and he used it to make his point. It's like, you look at the packaging of a cigarette and it's like the name of the cigarettes, and it's like this regal text, and it looks all good and fun, and this is what you want, is going to make you cool. But then you look at the boring text on the side that says, this product will kill you. And I mean, I do it no justice. You got to just watch this monologue. It's one of the best parts of the movie. And it's like, yeah. So it's like, and he said that would start sweet, ends bad, or that would starts bad, ends sweet, or something like that. But my point is this, my fault for running on to I was kind of walking around the house bored. Now I got somebody to talk to, so you tell me I'm happy. So my point is this: you have as a free society, right? Which is what we're supposed to be here. You are free to follow HS TikTok, Tiki-Taki, and whoever else out there.
Yeah.
Or you're free to listen or go learn on your own about the truth. And the truth is, man, it's hard. It's hard. There's too many guys. Like, and most of these young dudes and some of these other guys, they don't even know what they want. I talk to dudes all the time. It's like, man, what are you trying to do? What's your mission? and they'll start saying, well, I want to smash, I want to sleep with women, I want to be able to get women, blah blah. All right, but what's your long term goal? Well, I really want a wife. Well, if you really want a wife, man, me teaching you how to go out and just hook up with women is not going to help you find a good wife. I can show you how to go out here and find these 304s and have a good time for tonight. But if you want me to show you how to go out here and find you a good woman, well, that's a different, you know what I mean? Like what they're saying in the Wizard of Oz, that's a horse of a different color. That's a whole nother route. So these guys, these men don't even know what's going on. And my thing is, America has been happy with men being the batteries to drive this society and just leaving them invisible and just walking all over them. The manosphere is getting guys to think about it. Like, man, look at what's going on here. Pay attention to what's going on, right? And when these guys are checking out, they're going their own way and all this. Now mainstream media is trying to figure out a way to get these guys to engage because it's hurting us financially. If dudes don't go work, man, we don't have a country. I don't care what these women say. All these women like, we don't need men. All right, wait till they stop making roads. Wait till they stop, putting up the wires, so we can have electricity. Wait till they stop working on the pipes so we can have plumbing. Like, I want these dudes engaged, right?
Real quick, because I know Gia has to leave soon, so I'm gonna let her wrap up, and then I'm gonna remove the stream from her channel. But no, stay here, because we can continue this conversation. So real quick, if you guys are watching from Gia's channel and you want to continue this conversation or you want to chime in, please feel free to click the link there that's posted in her channel, and you end up migrating over here, and we can continue this conversation because she gotta go.
Yeah, I get to get in the kitchen with my husband.
That's right.
So before you go, like, where do you stand on this? Because I missed the opening and all that. Where do you stand on the manosphere and teaching these guys these things and trying to
I think there's a lot of good things in the manosphere. Like, I've learned a lot. It's helped my marriage on many different accounts. I just think that there's a lot being left out, like nuance. And as a woman, I know how hard it is to hear constantly, like, you're nothing but a whore, you're nothing but like women. That's why women are retracting. Like, they're just like, this is not, how is this helpful? And I understand their viewpoint. Like, how are we helping men and women bring them together? Like, I don't know. That's the part I think we're missing.
Everyone says, let me ask you this. Who is the prize? I'm sure you've heard this. Is the man the prize? Is the woman the prize? In your opinion, who is the prize?
I don't think either or. And I know I've heard, well, the man is the prize, right? Because there's less guys who got it together, got, their body together, their mind right. So there's less of them. So that's why they think they're the prize. And you have to have kind of that confidence too in today's world. So I get where they're coming from when they say men is a prize. But what I truly believe is the prize is when two people, a man and a woman, is working together, and they've done that year after year, decade after decade, and they're helping not just themselves, but their children, their family, their legacies. That to me is the prize.
I agree with you 100%. And this is what I talk about on my platform. I was like, when you have this guy and this woman, when they come together and they make it work, they come together, they stay together, and they do everything they're supposed to do, and they work it out together, they're the prize. It's like they form Voltron.
Exactly.
But when you're apart, neither one of us are the prize. I'm high value, with money, without money. I got game. I go out here, do what I do. I got tons of stories, but to me, I'm like, I won't be the complete prize until I find that woman that works. But I'm also old, so I might be past it. That's one of those things. Like, I don't know if I'm looking for.
Glenn, isn't there a scripture about the three-chord fold? I love that scripture because it talks about, like, when a man and woman, like one or the other, they come together, and then you have God as well in that union. That's the strongest. Like, that's when they're the strongest. So I don't think there's enough of that. And I think we really are we are in a spiritual war. That's what I truly believe in.
Yeah, no, it talks about like a 3 braided cord is stronger than like a 1 braided cord.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritual work. Well, next time we get together, I definitely want to hear more about that because I'm your friendly neighborhood heathen. I'm when it comes to church, I know the word. I was raised in it, but I'm a realist. I see what's going on right now, and I know this is supposed to be a Christian nation, but
it's more secular. It's not real. They're not real Christians. I don't think so.
They're Christian. It's Christian culture, right? They're Christian in name only. But not in practice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll go ahead and let you go because I don't want
Okay,
you to get in
I'll let you.
trouble.
It's nice meeting you. I hope we'll see you again in the next stream.
Absolutely.
Bye,
Same here.
Glenn.
Bye,
Bye,
Gia.
guys. Thanks for tuning in.
And then I'll go ahead and remove your channel, like turn your channels off here in a minute if you want me to. I can do that. I'm just gonna let it lay on a little bit longer for those who have time to switch over to this channel. All right.
Okay, cool. If it will let
All right.
me leave, I don't know.
I'll kick you out. Don't worry. Remove. She's gone.
Yeah, boom, just
Into
like
the
that.
kitchen she goes.
And that's when all the guys start cheering. That's another thing about the they'll see something like that, like, yeah, Glenn kicked her out. Like, man, cut that out. Cut that out, fam.
Stop it.
But
Stop it.
Like this manosphere thing, man. Mainstream society is gonna come after the manosphere, right? That's what they're doing now. They're gonna come after it, and then they're gonna see more and more men gravitate towards it. The next phase is gonna be, all right, let's listen to Scott Galloway and let's come up with our version of our HS Tiki Taki or our version of Andrew Tate, which they've been trying. There's been some. There was a podcast out there called Man Enough. It was god awful, bro. It was.
There's some horrible. There's some real horrible spaces, right? But see here, I wanted to point out, like, so you saw how HS Tiki Taki said, "I don't care. I'm getting rich. Basically, I'm doing me." Right?
Yeah.
So people be like, "Well, that's just them. That's just him. That doesn't speak to the sentiment of the space in general, right?" Well, let me play this for you.
Yeah, and that's I wanted to bring that up for like the best thing to do, guys, is just move silently, shut up. Like if you don't make content, you just, hey, women are the ones talking. They're gonna talk themselves to death about what is right, and none of them are gonna have, neither of them are gonna have your best interest at heart. Play the game, and really, we want to win. We don't care about being right.
Want to win, don't care about being right. So hear that, and
he'll go, why are you OnlyFans girls all whores? And shaking, thumping the Bible and everything. Like he was basically doing the same thing Andrew Wilson does every time he's on whatever podcast. It's just like he's just holding bitches accountable. Appeals more to the emotional state of guys who are moralistic, because that they're speaking the same language. Really, they're making emotional appeals. The only people who
a moralism, making a moralistic claim, it's emotionalism. So, and when they say that the red pill is amoral, it can't be moralistic. Then when you see HS Tiki Taki say what he said, you can't be mad at it because the space is supposed to be amoral. That is, do you see how that the slippery slope comes from that concept?
I mean, I don't care about the morals. My thing is, I'm the drill sergeant dealing with a bunch of raw recruits right off the bus. My job is to teach you what's going on out here. Let me prepare you for what the current dating marketplace has. Let me prepare you for that. The thing is, a lot of these dudes get hurt. They're upset. So many of these dudes are weird, socially weirdos. You look at clavicular and the looks maxing thing and what's going on with that. You just got some guys out here that are just doing these extremes. They want to come up with something that keeps them from not having to do the work. That's what it all boils down to, in my opinion. I'm not here to give you your morals. That's on you. That's on you, your family, your God, whatever it is. I want to show you
give somebody morals, but you could actually encourage them to do things that are going to be beneficial, not only for them, but like overall society, right? Like,
I draw the line. I draw the line for me. It's like, look, you should have that already. You're a good person or a bad person. You know the right from wrong. So when these guys come to me and they want to start talking like, all the girls on OF or, 304s, I would say, yeah, the majority of them, they're sexualizing themselves. Okay. Then once you find out she's an OF girl, why are you still dealing with it? Why are you in her chat calling her names? Like Andrew Wilson. Andrew Wilson is really good at what he's doing, but Andrew Wilson is just a variant of HS Tiki Taki. He's making money. They're both making money. That's their thing. And it's simply because he's pushing something that, the religious people like, because he's talking about the Bible.
Well, he's coming at, his solution is based off of a moralistic worldview. He's implementing morals into the solution, not saying do whatever works. He's saying this is how it ought to be. We should operate this way because this is better, not just for you, but society overall, right?
Morals are not going to help you when you get to court. That's all I got to, my thing is like morals is not going to, if you want, be morally sound, but understand if you choose the wrong woman and you didn't take any precautions going in, no prenups, no nothing, you didn't structure your finances in a way where it's hard to get at.
But being prenups is not amoral. That's not being immoral.
And I'm not saying it is. My point is, I'm talking about preparation and accepting the sexual marketplace for the way it is today. That's what I'm saying.
You can accept it for what it is, but you don't have to operate the way everyone else is operating unless you want to continue the same problems that we're having today.
Well, how you choose to operate is up to you. I'm just telling you how to, because most guys are operate. Okay, here's the thing with my problem with religion. And so when and you can go back, didn't we watch Andrew Wilson and Rich Cooper debate? Was that me?
No, we were supposed to. I thought you did that with somebody else. I saw that.
Okay, my bad. I did that with someone else, but
it wasn't this white guy. It was another white guy. You know.
I think I was talking to someone else about it. But here's the thing: religion is not going to save you in the family court law system.
No, nobody's saying it does.
But if you push the religious way of doing things, right? If you push that, guys are gonna think like, well, she loves me because she loves the same God I love, and she's playing a role because you didn't vet her. You didn't take the time to see what's up with it. You didn't check out her family. You got fooled, right? The Bible talks about women who fool you all the time, right? So, and the Bible, what does the Bible say about dealing with quarrelsome women? It's better to be on your roof or something like that.
Yeah. It's better to be living in your attic of your roof or in your house than in the corner of the attic and then living with a quarrelsome woman, right?
But if you're pushing this, they run ahead, they skip ahead in chapters, and they don't vet, and they get themselves in a situation believing because I'm morally sound and I believe in what's right, I believe in the Lord, I'm protected, and then you find yourself in front of the judge. Like, bro, you hurt. So my thing is, how about once we talk about the situation on the ground?
But see, like, here's the thing: why does like preparing yourself for protection in case of divorce and morals have to be conflicting? Because it's not. I would say it would be wise. The Bible talks a lot about wisdom and practicing, wisdom, right? And it refers to wisdom as like your sister, right? And so why doing that is considered moralistic. It's not. Practicing wisdom is being a good steward of your resources.
It could be, but don't you see that there are guys that I see so many guys within the church, within whatever church. I don't care if it's, I don't care what book they're reading. I don't care if they're reading King James Bible or one of the variants. I don't care if they're
hold on real quick. We got Keezy Kellogg OGs Kellogg Z. I don't know. In the back. I'll bring you up in just a moment, okay?
But I don't care what book you're
wait a minute. Is your camera frozen or can you move? Because
you want to make sure.
Yeah, you look like exactly. See, exactly. You just dropped. We knew what you were. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you definitely want to make sure. I don't care.
As soon as we call this out, it's like you see like bad behavior, like just like right there.
But the point is, when people wrap themselves up in their religion, whatever their religion is, I don't care if it's the Torah, the Quran, the King James Bible, they come away from, once the woman says, that's me as well, they stop their vetting process. They come away from that programming and they're like, oh, she's the one. It's like, nah, man, it takes more work than that.
Bro, I'm the one. I tell the guys all the time, don't look for women in church. Look, I know women that are in church that have a higher body count, have been way more promiscuous than porn stars that I know.
That's real
right?
talk.
Like, I know women had more dicks run through them than, a gangbang scene that Mila Khalifa may have been in, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, they're there to find that forgiveness. They're there. There's so many women talk about, I'm a born again virgin. Like, there's no such thing.
There's no such thing. Now, and this is what I always say. I'm glad that these women come to Christ. I'm glad that they find God. That means their soul has been saved and they can go to heaven. Cool. I'm glad. That doesn't make them marriageable, though.
that means she's trying to get saved. And depending on who's leading that church, they might try to push her on you by saying she
But it
is
doesn't-
marriageable.
That's
and
the
if you don't
problem
have
within the pastoral staff, right? For pushing that.
but that's what I'm talking about.
But,
And let me just
and I have no problem with that. I have no quarrelsome with that. What I have a problem with when in the space is that when it says that it's amoral and it doesn't operate under a moral, operation, then you're saying, I'm going to be hedonistic. Whatever works for me, works for me. Fuck you. Fuck the rest. I'm getting mine. Cool. When you operate under that way, then you're having to always look behind your back. You're choosing to operate that you're always going to get stabbed by somebody, and that you're basically playing into the same narrative that you're saying is a problem. So you're not creating a solution. You're just creating more of a problem.
I don't agree. I would say, here's the thing. At some point, you're going to have to take that leap of faith. At some point. 2 years to vet someone. 2 years is a very long time to lie and keep up a false premise. 2 years is a very long time to do that.
I say the same thing.
Right? So you vet them. You do what you're supposed to do. Right? You use your inner circle and your family. You pay attention to what she's saying. Most men, they run into problems because they fall in love instantly. And like Rollo says, man, I'm not a huge disciple of Rollo, but he says a lot of smart stuff in this space. Men and women love differently. Men do love idealistically, and a lot of women, not all, but there are women out there who love opportunistically. You have to learn
by
it takes
design.
time to find it. It takes time to find that. Most of these guys don't understand that. So a lot of guys have come to me, they're like, man, I like your version of the red pill. And I'm like, oh, thank you. But what is it that you like? They're like, man, you got me thinking a different way. And that's all I want to do. I want you to think a different way. Because so many dudes, I see it on like Rich Cooper's show. You'll have guys come on there and talk to Rich, and they'll say, well, I met this girl, and they'll tell all this stuff about all these things this woman is doing, but she won't stop going out with her girls. She won't stop taking the trips with her friends. She has all these guys. She's on social media, got a public